Hi guys, an absolutely beautiful morning for a walk with Elf. The sun's just coming up. It's amazing. Grass is looking good. Oh yeah, got it looking really good. It's looking amazing. Hedges are starting to take off as well. It's taken a while, but finally grown. Whew. Bit of a breeze in the air, but it's going to be a scorcher again today. Good boy. Yeah, didn't sleep very much. Woke up early, got productive. It's been a recurring theme. I think it's sun in the background. I won't complain. I think there's been a lot on my mind lately, and I often get very productive when I don't sleep very well, but I feel sick and I feel dizzy, and there's been a lot going on at the minute. I think the fact that I'm not as busy as I've always been means that I'm finally dealing with a lot of shit. So like I said before, but where we live is beautiful, like it's amazing, there's no immediate threats or nothing. It's very peaceful. Beach at our doorstep, out doing the gardening all week. So far it's only Wednesday, but kind of asking myself the question, right? Given how little the psychiatrists have actually delved into my issues and had a proper conversation with me, and then like talking to them myself, and also hearing people who used to be involved as therapists and now aren't anymore because they can't stand the way psychiatry is done. And these are guys who are like clinical therapists, and I hear a lot of people saying they don't accept the diagnosis of emotionally unstable personality or borderline personality, and they think instead that it's simply a trauma response. Because when you look at a lot of people who get the diagnosis, there's actually really good reasons. Like for me, I would have to agree with that, and as I say, I'm not a psychiatrist or nothing, but if there are life events that can explain what's happened to you, I don't think that's a disorder, and I don't think they delve into the problem enough. Hope not to blind you with the beautiful sun in the background. And like I always say to myself, my life wasn't that bad, and sure I don't have any trauma, and everybody always undermines me. If I say anything to my dad, that he'll start contacting me and say, look, I've been given this diagnosis, or you don't have that. I've been diagnosed with this, or you don't have that. It's never, oh, you might. It's just instant denial. And I think that's because it reflects badly on him. I think to admit that I have any issues means that, oh, he didn't do a good job as a father. We can't be having that. Sure, he made me fly over to Holland on my own when we were supposed to be going together, just to prove a point to my auntie that I was capable and wasn't a retard, as he said. Prove to her you're not a retard for me. Do this for me. Do this in memory of me. Good old Catholic mass. But like, I could do it, and I did it, but that's not the point, That's a fucking weird thing, and I didn't realise how weird everything was, and because you're in it, you know what I mean? You think to yourself, this is normal, but it's not. Anybody like ever feel jealous of people who come from healthy family environments. I feel like people have always undermined me and not validated the trauma I went through as a kid, because I wasn't, from this rough council estate or anything like that. Doesn't always have to be the fucking stereotype, or people make it out like it has to be, and it really annoys me. So no, I didn't grow up on a rough council estate, but if you look at the events in my life, they were fairly fucking traumatic. Look at that. That's not traumatic anyway. It's amazing now. I mean, the trauma could explain a lot, why I'm still feeling this shit even after the event, post-trauma, as they call it. But yeah, I'm trying to come to terms with a lot of shit, yeah, a lot. Look at this. Good boy, come on. Yeah, good boy. I don't even know necessarily if it's just the event itself, but like, I think it's the fact that I've been invalidated so often. That didn't happen, you're remembering that wrong. And it was the one person who's done it more than anyone, my mum. She's the one who's actually told me, you're remembering that wrong, or that didn't happen. And I always put her on a pedestal, so I thought, no, it's my dad, he's the reason, he's the bad one. And while I'm trying to take responsibility for the stuff I can control, I've gone to therapy, I've admitted things that are wrong with me, I've tried seeking help. And fuck all's been given, to be honest. Come on, don't be lazy. Nah, you getting lazy on me? Nah, good boy, there we go. He's he'll soldier on. Just wants to sniff. Good boy. I'll go with him now before it gets too hot, because the heat's just about to come out. But yeah, I don't want this shit to hold me back for life, and I feel like it really is. It's being invalidated, but like, yeah, I admit you need to take responsibility, but I've gone to therapy, I've gone to doctors, I've fucking spilt my guts out, and they invalidate you. You're gonna have to be on these antidepressants for the rest of your life. They make me feel like shit. I can't get anything done when I'm on them. It's not the fucking answer. Fucking pills all the time. And that's the thing, you think, okay, well, if my own parents aren't listening to me, that's their shit. They're not willing to deal with it, that's not my fault. And it's not. But then you actually seek help. Come on, Alf. Good boy. You seek help, you actually work up the courage to do it, which everybody says, oh, it's so courageous, but what do you get for it? Fuck all. Take these pills, and it's very disheartening, because you're actually thinking, it took a lot for me to come in here today, and you're making me feel so fucking invalidated. Doctors don't even bother their arse to list any side effects of medication. You have to read all that yourself. They treat you like you're a simpleton. Come on, don't be sniffing a dead bird. Why do dogs do that? They love sniffing dead birds. Mum. Come on, Alf, it's just a bit of wood. I haven't want the collar now, so. Like, I think that's one of the worst things, because I put in so much hope thinking, and people tell you, once you open up, it'll all get better. It does for a little bit, but you're still left with the shit, the trauma. Trying to get my mum to admit to anything is a waste of time. I've noticed actually quite how manipulative she can be. And I take no pleasure in saying that, and this isn't just blame everybody else, but she'll use my brother as well to manipulate, and they both go, oh, that's a terrible idea, that'll fail, you don't think these things out well enough. They'll put a load of pressure and make me really anxious, and then when something does fail, oh, told you so, you should have listened to us. But like that, they're saying to me, oh, move out, you're doing our head in. And then when I do move out, it's, oh, that's a terrible idea, why'd you do that? And then they say to me, leave that house, it's terrible, your granddad's treating you like shit, leave. We'll drop you up, it's no problem. because I didn't have a car, you know, to get to work. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll drop you up, like, you know, it's no problem. But then saying, oh no, now we have to bring you up. It's like, I said I would stay. I fucking told you I would stay, and you told me no, leave. You know, it's bad for your head, so leave and we'll drop you up. I said I would have happily stayed. Well, not happily, but I said I would have stayed until the job was finished, because I had to do when I gave my notice, I had to finish out 2 weeks. That was the notice period. And so that's what I did. And I gave it every shot I could. They told me to leave the house because it was a toxic place for me. But then blackmailed me and said, oh, we had to drop you up and, you know, you're putting us out. I was like, you fucking told me. And the reason I took the job was to make money to help you guys out. You know, it's constant little things like that. Lack of appreciation as well. Like, I bought her a really nice pearl necklace for her birthday. I put a lot of thought and effort into that. I saved up with my job that I had, which didn't pay me very well. I might fucking add. Cost me over €200, and that's not appreciated. I spent a fortune fixing up her car. That's not appreciated. I always buy the shopping. That's not appreciated. The grass is looking amazing because I spent a fortune getting the cables all done up and repairing the robotic lawnmower so that when I'm not here, the grass is still cutting and it's looking fucking amazing. I might add, my grass is looking good. I was out all day doing the hills, you know, the mound, because there were big branches and all growing in that. And I used this strimmer, which my brother bought without a clue how to use it, and put the wrong petrol in and it fucking broke on us recently. You know, but I used it as much as I could, got as much of the hill done as I could, and now it's looking good, really good, thankfully. You know, I fixed our coffee machine, put a video up on that. I was delighted with that because I need that. That's my fuel, especially when not drinking fizzy drinks. I fixed the side gate, which I keep on having to go on about because they keep telling me how I did it wrong, and so it's like, fuck off, you know, you didn't bother your arse doing it, I did it, and at least it's up now. Stop complaining about everything and appreciate what's actually being done for you, you know. And I'm going to courses, I'm trying to better myself. I feel like nothing good I do was appreciated and everything bad is just picked up instantly, you know, by everyone. That's fucking driving me mental. I'm getting pretty sick of it now. It's like I move out and I realise just how capable I was. You know, you start to really doubt yourself. And I feel like there's a lot of manipulation tactics used when in actual fact I was able to get to and from work on time. I was able to get into a night shift, I was able to get there by myself and got a bit of independence, and then it's taken away. Which is very manipulative, you know, it's very controlling, and I feel like they're both doing that. They can't stand me when I'm there, and then when I'm not, the place is in a shit state, and I'm kind of thinking, I don't care anymore, I've done my best, I've helped you. But it's hard to break free from it, you know, definitely hard. And yes, they have helped me out, you know, and we look after each other, which is why it's harder for me to, you know, break away. And I've done a lot for them, you know, done a lot for a lot of people, and I feel like it just gets spat back in your fucking face. You know, it's not nice. It's not nice to not feel appreciated. That's even worse, to feel invalidated. And the worst part, like, and this kind of made me feel validated, but it's also like too little too fucking late, was when a therapist I went to see said if I'd known about your situation as a kid, when that incident happened, Just gonna sit outside and I'll continue recording in a sec. And we're back. So yeah, just yeah, like where was I? I'm trying to remember now, but the therapist saying to me, had I known what had happened to you, like one incident alone, when my dad punched me as a 9-year-old, threw me on the floor and kicked me in the back, I'd have been on to social services and the guards would have taken you away, you know, somewhere safe, because that's an unsafe environment for a child. And I was like, oh, really? And I was kind of like, I'm validated, but then I'm kind of like, too little, too fucking late. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all well and good saying this now, but nobody validated me at all. And people said, oh, well, why didn't you say something? I was like, because it was obviously fucking normal to me. And I'm autistic. Communication has always been tough for me. A lot of people didn't appreciate that. And just makes me realise how much fucking trauma there was, and it's because when you're in this environment, there is no threat, and I know that. And that's why I feel very ungrateful, because I'm like, look at it, it's fucking beautiful here. And then I get angry at myself for not appreciating it. But it's not just the fact that something bad happened. It's the fact that someone didn't validate me. Someone wasn't there to help me as a young child. I felt so alone. And I still do. I still revert back into that stage. You try and mind your own business and people keep giving you grief. You defend yourself. And, your caregiver doesn't come running out to defend you, but they come running out as soon as you do something wrong. Like that incident I spoke about, the neighbour, when he hit me with the stick 4 times, and then I hit him. I defended myself, because nobody else was going to do it for me. I get punched and I get thrown on the floor and I get kicked. She comes in a few minutes later and does nothing. While I'm in a heap on the ground crying as a 9-year-old kid. And I always used to say, yeah, but I was attacking my brother, so. And it's only when he's barking now and I'm kind of like, it's open back here. Nah, I've been letting him in and out all day so far. I leave the back door open for him, right, and he literally never realises. I think he just wants the attention. He can come round to me. One sec. Definitely just an attention seeker. He can go into the house if he wants, and he well knows that. See, it's just as I was starting to get somewhere as well. Like, that's not fucking normal. And then, I used to never have any hang-ups about saying anything either. If something was wrong or someone was annoying me, I'd say it, and my mum and dad would be like, oh, shut the fuck up, because they didn't want to have to deal with it. You give out to someone for kicking your seat and your dad screams at you, oh, don't be a fucking idiot, and now I have to deal with this, look what you've done, just for sticking up for myself. So not only were you, not stood up for, you were discouraged from sticking up for yourself as well. How the fuck are you supposed to be confident? My mum will say stuff to me like, I don't know how you don't have confidence or believe in yourself. It's like, it's all well and good saying that. You fucking bloody well know why. Like, it's just so damaging, like, and other parents always assuming their kids are in the right, and everyone just bashing you all the time, saying you're in the wrong, you're the problem. You're the worst case we've ever seen. You're the problem. He needs to go on drugs. Don't ever get any hope of getting anywhere. He won't stick at that. He won't do this. He won't do that. And you just assume one day it'll get better, and it never does. You know, it takes real courage to do something when you're fucking terrified and you don't have the confidence to do it, but you do it anyway. You know, you put your needs to one side and you do it for somebody else. And I've seen a lack of that time and time again for me and my brother. And then God forbid I show a bit and I'm labelled as selfish. It's like, what? Everything I was taught to believe has just been completely eroded. I have a fear of getting out and, you know, living my life, but I feel like it's the only way forward now because it's getting too much. I can't keep bullshitting, you know. Just felt so let down. Like literally no one there fighting in your corner. Like how was that even fucking possible? Teachers didn't intervene, they did fuck all. Family members didn't want to get involved and said they didn't. I'm not getting involved, I don't want to know. How fucking cowardly can you be? And it's still fucking affecting me. Or I question every fucking thing and there seems to be a new trauma for every fucking day. And then it pisses you off even more because you can't enjoy something like this. See, you you knew, didn't you? He's back. Good boy. Yeah, it's resume your rightful position. You were trying to con me, weren't you? Yeah, he knew the back door was open all along. Good boy. You alright? Good lad. Oh. Yeah, so like... It just shows me as well how cowardly everybody else was. You know, like a group of older lads saying something to an overweight autistic kid or his fucking brother, and you're like, you're a big man, aren't you? As you get older and bigger and stronger, they wouldn't say shit to you, but when you're young, vulnerable, that's when they say everybody just fucking beats you down. I guess it's only when you actually start seeing happy, healthy people you realise how fucked up your own situation was. And you allow people into your life that aren't good for you, you know, who manipulate you, and because you already feel like you're worthless, so you need someone to tell you what to do and boss you around. And that's why that BPD or EUPD diagnosis, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is it even real or is it just a cop-out so they can smack another label on you? Or is it a lot of fucking trauma and complex? Because, you know, I can't pinpoint any one event. I mean, a few, yeah. But, like, it was never without justification. Like, I've been overly fucking nice to people before. You know, people pleasing and terrified of losing anyone. And then, yeah, there's a couple of incidents where you go, that's not normal, but there's a lot of people who think they have the right to take their bad day out on you, and they have done with me. And God forbid I actually defend myself. Like, I've tried so fucking hard, I can't even tell you. And I feel like I'm back at square one. That's honestly how I feel. You know, and I make this channel to offer hope to people, you know, and the world seems like such a fucking negative place now, doesn't it? So I think the best advice I can give is work on yourself before you think of helping anyone else, or, you know, devoting yourself to a big cause, because I've spent so long not dealing with the root issue of the problem, and now I'm doing it. And it's very fucking painful. A lot more than I thought. That's why I don't think I'm sleeping. Some nights I'm not, and some nights I'm oversleeping, and like there's been situations before with conflict, like confrontational situations that I wasn't threatened by the other person, and this kind of was eye-opening, like the person tried to intimidate me but they couldn't. I wasn't afraid. I didn't think they were going to be able to beat me up. I was afraid of making a scene or embarrassing myself, and I was like, why am I embarrassed? I could take this person easily. It's just a mental block. And that goes back to being a kid and being told shut the fuck up, and it's your fault, why are you making. That therapist actually did help me with realising there was always the finger pointed, you're the problem. You've got to be allowed to fucking defend yourself when people are out to get you. You cannot sit there and be a fucking punch bag. I also, I chose to walk away from a lot of potential dangerous situations, and that was harder, but it worked out better in the end. There was nothing to be gained by it. Maybe a bit of pride, but there was an incident before where it showed me just how cowardly my whole family are. Like we were in Galway with my auntie and me, my brother and our younger cousins, and me and my auntie went into the garage, and my brother stayed with the younger cousins. I was just minding him, and he was about 17 at the time. And I looked out and I could see some fella roaring at my brother, and my auntie was just after paying for her stuff, so she wasn't far behind me. And I could see this fella, and I thought, my brother needs my help. Right, compose yourself, take a deep breath, because believe me, I didn't want to deal with it. Didn't want to, but I fucking had to. And I took a deep breath and I went over and I said, what's after happening here? And he was like, oh, they're after smashing up the fucking car. They'd bumped into the car with the door, and they'd done it twice. So once your man let it go, and the second time he started having a go. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with the car, what are you talking about? And he was like, look over there, there's a fucking dent. And I was like, there's no dent, calm the fuck down, will you? You're screaming at kids. And he was like, how would you like it if I smashed up your car? And I was like, you're not going to do it, piss off. And then he was like, you'd want to watch your fucking attitude, son. And I was like, my attitude? You're the one screaming and shouting at kids. And my brother was apologising and trying to appease, because that's what he's had to do his whole fucking life. Trying to appease everybody else, God love him. But he handled the situation as best he could. He said sorry, because they did hit the door. And I went over and was like, don't start screaming at kids, Did I want to? No, but my needs don't come into it, because I'm like, fuck that, I have to help out. And I've done that lots of times, but I don't remember the good times, I remember the bad times, so I have to remind myself of when I did something I really didn't want to do, and that's one of them. And he said, you handled that really well, my brother, and he was like, thanks. I was like, no bother. My auntie came out like about, I'd say a few seconds after the whole thing ended, and your man's wife or girlfriend was apologising to me. I was like, oh, it's not your fault. Again, just find a better fella. But I was just thinking about it. I was like, my auntie comes out a few minutes after it, and I looked out and I could see the incident. She probably could as well, and chose to leave it until afterwards. Like, they're just so bad at dealing with conflict, a lot of them. And I'm just like, you've got to do it for other people, your kids. But it's very selfish not to do that. And say I love you as many times as you fucking want, or how great you are, and you can buy people gifts, yeah, which are nice, of course, but as I always say, actions speak louder than words. Like, I could get a fucking panic attack just going through Dublin city centre, and I've had many of them. So I just, I compose myself, and I have a lot of guilt and shame over when it got too much and I felt like I just had to leave, get the fuck out of Dodge. Pushing myself to do something I didn't want to do. And it is good for growth, of course it is, but I often think, what's the point? Why did I bother my arse pushing myself out of my comfort zone? Why did I not just stay in the comfort zone, and have everyone pity me and run around after me? Because it would have been a lot fucking easier than this. But I demand better of myself. I expect more from myself. That I can be depended upon. But I've nothing to base it off. So yeah, inevitably I will make mistakes, I'll get it wrong. Everybody's answer is just, oh, it's not my problem, deal with it yourself. What a fucking cowardly response. Like all those negative comments that have been said to me over the years by other people, by supposed friends, by family members. You can excuse it all you fucking want, or say, oh, nobody's perfect, and I've had therapists that have done that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but incidents add up. When an adult spoke down to me and nobody was there to stand up for me. Teachers accusing me of doing stuff I didn't do when I was on my own, again. Still developing, still an awkward fuck. Friendships that ended because, I was seeking some sort of brotherhood, if you like, and kind of safety, so you have your mates and they look out for you and they have your back. So I kind of felt like if I have them, I'll be alright because nobody in my family has my back. Cousins don't want to know. Dad doesn't want to know. Mum. All this complaining about stuff but then never actually doing anything about it. And then giving me grief when I'm having difficulty because college is very loud, and just a bit of fucking sympathy. I've come a long way and I don't even get the smallest bit of sympathy because you're over it now. You were the worst case in the world before and now you're over it, so you're fine. You were literally, and they literally called me a fucking retard. I've been called a retard by more than one member of my family. So that hurts as well. And then it's like, yeah, you just feel invalidated, and then it's almost as if all your hard work counts for nothing. You're just, you're where you should be in life, and that's it. So here you are, now get on with it. Just get over it. And college was extremely tough for me, and I fucking soldiered through, and it took everything out of me. I was so depressed throughout all of it. I had no self-confidence whatsoever, and I got through it. Sport somehow stuck with that as long as I could until I just inevitably crumbled. And I do think, what's the point? Did I just waste my time to get where? To just have more expectation dumped on me. It's not good to not have expectation and to demand more of yourself, but you shouldn't do it at the expense of who you are. And I changed who I fucking was to appease everybody else. So much so that I don't even fucking know who I am anymore, really. But without all the life experiences I've had, I wouldn't be able to make this channel. So every cloud, not a cloud in the sky today. Neil ain't scommels of spare. Tá I'm sure go hauling. Yeah. Nah, it's just, I'm trying to validate myself, but it's not easy. got an appointment today now with Wexford Local Development again, so hopefully start me on a work placement soon, and we shall see. But yeah, gotta try and enjoy this beautiful weather as well, because it keeps me in a good mood for sure when the brain demons take over. Alright, see you guys.